Welcoming in studio Raphaël Melançon, political analyst for CJAD 800 and CTV Montreal, also a columnist for the Montreal Gazette, president and founder of Trafalgar Strategies. And this segment is brought to you by Guaranteed Industries. Spring is around the corner, so call Guaranteed Industries now to update your climate control system with energy-efficient equipment from Canair. Call Guaranteed Industries, 514-342-3400. Raphael, you had to dash here because the metro was closed. What?
I'm a bit out of breath at the moment. I'm sorry for those listening to us. But yes, I had to run from Baudry metro station to get to the station here at the corner of Papineau and Rue Lévesque because Papineau station is currently closed, completely closed. It's been a few hours. We don't have all the details at the moment, but apparently there was a murder attempt either in the metro or something related to the murder that happened earlier today, this morning, close to Laurier metro station on the plateau. So we don't have all the details at the moment, but it raises once again the issue of safety in our public transit system. I've written and talked about it so many times, but it's yet again, we need to, I'm a regular metro user, Trudy. I don't have a car and I live close to Monk metro station in Villemar. And I'm on the Green Line, and not a single week passes by without me seeing something happening in the metro. It could be incidents such as people smoking crack in the stations, on the quays, inside the metro. Could be people fighting, shouting. And then we also have issues related to safety and murder attempts, like this one, for instance. If it is confirmed by the SPVM, we'll have to wait and see all the details, but it has to be something major to completely close an entire metro station for many hours, especially at rush hour at the moment. So for those of you who are listening to us at home, if you have to take the metro on the Green Line, if you have to stop or go through Papineau metro station, know that it's completely closed. The metro doesn't stop there. So you have to either get off at Baudry or Frontenac metro stations. But yet again, still a lot of questions need to be answered. But yet again, I repeat it, we need to have more police forces, not just at the entry of the metro, but also on the quays and inside the trains all the time, because incidents happen not only at the entry of the metro stations, they happen mostly. Whenever I come out here from my segments on CJAD, I go take the metro at Papineau metro station. Not a single time I don't see homeless people sleeping on the quays, people consuming drugs on the quays, people fighting on the quays. Every single week when I come here, I see things happening at Papineau metro station. It's one of the hot spots. You know, downtown Montreal is a hot spot for sure. But Papineau, particularly, I would say Papineau, Baudry, and Berry-UQAM, of course, there's police forces all the time at Berry-UQAM. But the other stations, not all the time. I rarely see police patrolling the stations, the quays, and especially in the trains. When you're in between station, inside the trains, I've seen it recently. A tall, black man who was under the influence of some drugs was threatening women, and he was harassing them, and people started running inside the train because they didn't know what to do and where to go to be safe, to save their lives. If ever the guy was to pull a firearm or a knife, for instance, it could be very dangerous. So we need to have police officers inside the trains as well.
You heard it from Raphaël Melançon. Strong argument, more security inside the metro. I mentioned off the top that Raphael is a columnist for the Montreal Gazette. You have a piece coming up in the Gazette tomorrow that I wanted to flag for our listeners, because you talk about Bernard Drinville on the secularism laws. What angle are you taking?
So basically, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, we had the news broke that some school employees who are refusing to abide by the new law, Bill 94, which is extending the ban for the wearing of religious symbols to all public school employees and volunteers. So it's not just teachers anymore. It's also janitors, secretaries, cafeteria workers, daycare educators. All of them now are no longer allowed to wear religious symbols at work. So because of that, we now see people that are losing their jobs, and according to Radio-Canada, up to 500 of them could be losing their jobs in the coming months in the greater Montreal area. So that's a lot of people we need to replace because of that. And 2 weeks ago, to justify, because he was the education minister back when Bill 94 was adopted a year ago, well, last fall, and Drainville said that we need to guarantee a non-religious school environment for all students across Quebec. Well, I thought this was quite interesting to hear because, yes, it's about secularism, but at the same time, you are prohibiting your employees from wearing religious symbols, but at the same time, your school, most of the time, has a religious name.
Certainly the one that my kids went to in Pierrefonds is named after a Catholic saint.
Well, you know what, Trudy? I compiled a whole list. I worked hard on this column. I compiled a whole list. And out of nearly 2,000 public elementary schools in Quebec, that's just for elementary schools, more than 500 of them, so more than 1 in 4 public elementary schools, bears the name of either a saint, biblical figure, or former member of clergy. That's including, of course, Notre Dame, Vierge Marie, Immaculée Conception, Monseigneur something, any saint, of course. So it's a lot of schools. 1 in 4, more than 25% of all schools in the province, elementary schools only, bear the name of a biblical figure or clergyman. So it's a clear contradiction from the principles of secularism that are promoted right now by the Ministry of Education. And to me, this has to be addressed. It doesn't seem to be any issue in the eyes of the CEQ at the moment, but we need to address it because it's a constant reminder to all students who enter the schools every single morning. It's a constant reminder of religious presence in their school, of the religious past of Quebec society, back when the all-powerful Catholic Church used to dominate society, including our education system. So we need to replace those names, in my point of view, and we could do that by consulting, of course, students and parents and bring the communities together to choose new names to honor, let's say, people, former students of those schools who had success in either sports, culture, business, but also, I would say, most of all, we need to honor more women. In Quebec, right now, there's only about 10% of public places and public buildings that are named after women. So there's a lack of balance between the representation of men and women in our toponymy. So we should take this opportunity here to honor more women and name those schools instead of naming them after saints, name them in honor of women who had a considerable contribution for their communities over time.
Now, we only have about 30 seconds or so, Raphael, but I wanted to pick your brain on the Don Cherry question because, as you pointed out, it's getting a lot of play in the Francophone media. What are you hearing, and where do you stand on this notion of giving Don Cherry the Order of Canada?
So it's the Conservatives right now who are pushing for Don Cherry to be honored with the Order of Canada. I say it's very controversial, particularly on the Francophone side, because as we know, Don Cherry has said very bad things about Quebecers and Francophones in Canada over the past. He also said very bad things about foreigners, about Indigenous peoples. So it's controversial not just for Francophones in Quebec, but also elsewhere in Canada. And I think we have to be careful here because the Order of Canada is our highest honor in this country. We should not be tarnishing it with people who are divisive in the eyes of many people in this country.
Raphaël Melançon, thanks very much.
My pleasure, Trudy.
Introducing Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
Join me for an insider look on a wild ride through 40 years of global rock and roll.
Bryan Adams Radio. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Or ask your smart speaker to play Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Who's ready to rock?
Everywhere I go, kids wanna rock.